Good morning. I'm sitting here drinking my cup of coffee and just kind of relaxing. I've been driving my bus. I drove my bus this morning. I had to drive a route that was further away. But had to get up like at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had to be out of the house by at least 4:30, 4:45, no later than 4:45, to make it to the bus to get started on the route on time. So pretty early route, but I enjoyed the route this morning because I seen so many scenery. The kids are awesome, on the certain route that I went on. But there was just so many scenes this morning, crossing the hills and seeing the sunrise and seeing the red sky. It was just a beautiful, beautiful morning all around. But I've been reading this book for the past couple of days. I've been reading this book. They Call Me Goose. They Call Me Goose. And this is written by Jack Gibbons. Jack Gibbons. They Call Me Goose. My Life in Kentucky Basketball and Beyond. Jack Gibbons with Doug Brunk. Forward by Ralph Hacker. Jack Goose Gibbons' performance in the NCAA Final in 1978 was a true March Madness magical moment. His 41-point game vies Duke to spark Kentucky and Joe B. Hall to the 1978 title is legendary. Jack is genuine, solid gold, PT per primetime player. Dick Vitale, college basketball broadcaster, ESPN. Tubby Smith, Tubby Smith writes, when I witnessed Jack Gibbons' historic 41-point performance in the 1978 NCAA championship, I was a young coach at Hook County High School in Rayford, North Carolina. Trying to make my way, Jack became a hero not only to me, but to the young men I was coaching, many of whom were also African Americans like me. The Goose inspired us then, and he inspires us now with his powerful life story. Again, by Orlando Tubby Smith, former head coach of the University of Kentucky men's basketball. But anyway, it's a very good book. If you are into March Madness, I think anybody that is part of the Big Blue Nation, and they love Kentucky basketball, they should check this book out of their local library, or you can also get it on Libraries Unbound, Kentucky Libraries Unbound. You can also get it on that for anywhere in the state of Kentucky. Or you can go to your local bookstore. Here in Hazard, we have Read Spotted Newt. They have it there at Read Spotted Newt. You can buy it there. Or you can also get it on interlibrary loan in your local library if they do not have it. But it's a very good book. Very, very good book. He takes you on the highs and lows in his life, and something that remained constant throughout his whole life, something that remained constant is his faith in the Lord Jesus Christ. His faith in the Lord Jesus, that remained constant throughout his life. his mother was very caring, or his mother was very kind. She worked with special needs. That's something that she done, and it seemed to be her life calling, is working with special needs, and it seemed to be her life calling. By the time that she retired, she was practically doing everything a registered nurse would do. She had all the trainings, all the certificates to do that. He writes about his teachers and his coaches that left a huge inspiration in his life. He writes about how he felt when he was in the apartment complex in Lexington, Kentucky, and just all of a sudden one day they started putting up a barbed wire fence, and that barbed wire fence separated the blacks and the whites. He talked about the first time he ever rode the school bus to school. Before that, he had to walk. He had to walk to school. But the day came that he was finally allowed to ride the school bus to school. And he talked about the feeling and the joy of riding that school bus. This book takes you on the lows and the highs of the Goose's life. I would recommend any UK basketball fan to read this book. There are points, I have to say, during his life and during the book that I have to say his faith got him through it. His faith in the Lord Jesus had to get him through it. At one of the most hardships in his life, one of the most hardest points in his life, the pastor encouraged him to pray, and he prayed right there on the spot, and it made him feel better. But anyway, I encourage you to read this book. They Call Me Goose: My Life in Kentucky Basketball and Beyond, by Jack Givens, with Doug Brunk, forward by Ralph Hecker. I encourage you, if you are a true Big Blue Nation fan, go and check this book out and read it. Read it for yourself. Let me say, after you read it, pass it on to somebody else. If you buy this book, pass it on to somebody else to read. Any book that you read, don't leave it sitting on the bookshelf. Loan them out to other people to read. I had a friend that recently passed away back last fall, but his enjoyment was getting books and passing it on to other people. I'm going to read it, just a thing from this book. Here's one picture in the book. That's of my days competing in the dirt bowl at Douglas Park. There was only one court. He said now there are 3 courts and bleachers for fans. I'd love to go out to Douglas Park in Lexington. I'd love to go out there, play on that basketball court, just to say, hey, I played there where the Goose played. Right in the very first toward the first of the book, and I'll find it here in just a minute. He talked about his Uncle Jack his Uncle Jack loved to make people laugh. He loved to sing. That's who he was named after. Sometimes we'd sit around talking, and out of the blue, he'd start crooning lines from a song related to the topic of discussion. Bits from popular tunes of the day by Motown artists like Stevie Wonder, The Stylist, and the Four Tops. Uncle Jack also sang gospel songs, including my mom's favorite, His Eyes on the Sparrow. Part of the hymn goes like this: why should I feel discouraged? Why should shadows come? Why should my heart feel lonely and long for heaven and home when Jesus is my portion? A constant friend is he, his eyes on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. And here's his uncle that he was actually named after. Sounds like he had an awesome uncle. Another gospel favorite that he sang around our family when I got older was The Potter's House, the opening lines of that hymn. In case you've fallen by the wayside of life, dreams and visions shattered, you're all broken inside, you don't have to stay in that shape that you're in. The potter wants to put you back together again. Oh, the potter wants to put you back together again. Uncle Jack's favorite saying was, it's better to be kind than to be right. I believe that motto, and it defines Uncle Jack. So his Uncle Jack had as well as his mother. His Uncle Jack had a big hand in inspiration in his life as well. But anyway, it's a very good book. I encourage you to check this book out. If you're a true Big Blue fan, check this book out. They Call Me Goose.